right. Let's go.
Let's go.
So how was everybody's weekend and what is everybody's plans for this here holiday season? And remember to play it safe.
Rest and relaxation.
I'm trying to tell you, that's on the agenda. Oh my goodness.
Cook.
Right. Some
Going to the
football
Bayou
and some
Classic.
the Bayou Classic. I want to memorabilia from the Bayou Classic. It's like whatever it is. I've never been to the Bayou Classic.
Wow, you missing a treat.
Hey, get this. That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna invite a guest next year. Okay, I'm gonna plan that out.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a treat there.
Absolutely. So who's staying in this? I'm gonna be here.
Me.
Well, I'll be in Loganville. That ain't gonna be too far, so I'll be in Loganville.
I'm gonna be here.
All right.
I'll be
Well,
in Ludowisi, Georgia.
Ludowisi.
Ludowisi.
Hey, who said Ludowisi?
Oh, who is that?
Miss
Now,
Jan, untwist your face, Miss Jan. Untwist your face.
No,
Ludowisi exists.
Where's
Oh,
that?
no.
wait
Check this
a
out.
minute.
No. My sister lives in Ludowisi, and so I'm down there often right there. So as that's why I said is somebody else is going to Ludowisi. I said I thought I was the only one who heard of it.
I've never heard of Little Weezy.
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't hear
Me neither.
Ludowisi either until my cousin relocated there. This is Chandra, everyone. I don't have my camera on, but this is Chandra. But yes, my cousin lives in Ludowisi, so we're spending Thanksgiving there.
Okay, outside, and Ludowisi is right next door to Hinesville,
Yes.
and it's a little cutout, and so it's growing. So that's a good thing, and so it's yes, and so anyway, but that's interesting, Chandra. And so wow, connectivity and great. So but I'll be going out there with the Kindred Foundation this past Saturday. We did partner with them, and as they gave out 200 turkeys, and then we paired that up with the Girl Scouts boxes that we had as well for the seniors, and so
Awesome.
that we was able to have them come pick up, and we delivered some, and very good turnout, very good, effective event, effective organization that's on the horizon, and that I think that is going to be around for a long time because he brings out there different type of programming. It's centered around athletics, but as he wants to bring a nerd camp, and so to our area because outside of that we are athletics. I believe in education as well is through athletics to a scholarship because everybody ain't going to the league, but let it do for you what it can do for you. So you can, have a great earning potential. And what that nerd camp does is it brings all the Ivy League schools down here, centralized around this deal. And there's more to come because as you're going to hear from our Parks and Recs director, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited right here because at the end of the day, you have to have the right people around in the position and who has a mindset of what they're doing. And I just think things should organically happen as they should be. You shouldn't have to force things down people's throats, but it comes with the right synergy. And when you have somebody who has a heart for what they do, because this is what they do, you can just get out of the way, and things are going to naturally happen throughout the ecosystem as it should. What they talk about equity, equality, and inclusion. Let's practice it. Get this. We could start right here with our parks and system, and as it's a brand new day. When you draw those three circles, you got the why is your nucleus. You got the what because you know why you're doing it, you know what you're doing. But that outer circle can be a little complex. But the how, right? And I'm gonna ask y'all this: how do y'all get over hurdles?
Jump.
One at a time. One at a
Pray.
time.
Pray,
One at a
jump.
time.
I just
So,
pray
but
about it.
absolutely, and one at a time. And so it's being steadfast and staying the course. And foolishness is oxygenating throughout our city. But at the end of the day, too, I stay focused on the things necessary because I don't want the basic essential things to slip out and go overlooked, undone, not completed. And so but staying the course out there is just sometimes they say just be silent. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, that here is, and I thank y'all. Get this, day ones. I love y'all for real. It's like y'all get on here and committed to the process, and y'all see the effective nature of collaboration because Corey Reeves is not doing it by himself. Believe that. We have General Lever here. We got Jane. We got Hakili. We got Sheila. We got Glenda. We got Diane. It's gonna take us all. We. Y'all are really legitimately going through the process out there, good, bad, or ugly. But we committed, and there's a difference between interest and commitment. That's a fact. So, how was everybody? What did everybody else's? Oh, I'm gonna be passing out turkeys today, right? So the extra turkeys, I'm sorry, we're gonna Miss Mumford is gonna be cooking. So I have volunteered as to deliver some meals down to the E911 center because they're gonna expand. They feed she cooks for every fire station, right? And so if anybody want to volunteer or help take a meal, reach out to the administration, reach out to Tamiko, and she'll put you in touch with Mr. Mumford. And if y'all have the available time and on your hands and want to do something to deliver to a fire station, and it's going to be a combination of fire and police, and so through the fire stations, just feel free to reach out. And so, as I will be delivering a meal down to the E911 center, and so this is festive time, and I legit eat veggies on this day because it's all that food is. I can't go back. I just can't go back, right? And so for me, it's Veggie Day. But so anybody cooking up some greens and macaroni and cheese, hey, make me a plate.
Sorry, Joyce. I meant for that question to go out to Councilman Reeves. When is the when are the volunteering opportunities?
Glad you asked. This is one here is we actually putting together a list through the organizations that are going to be putting on events and things of that nature. And so, as I will tell y'all that the chili cook-off is the last event that I'm doing was that I was doing, right? And so, as we're focused on, because now that we have ownership of the field, we're focusing, our direct focus is on the Friday Night Live, and but all of these things are through Parks and Recs. So the volunteer opportunities will come through the nonprofit cohort and the organizations that we do support within this ecosystem. So we're going to generate a calendar, and based on that, and then if you know anybody who need hours of, or community service hours, high school or whatever reason, these organizations are certified to get those hours as well. So mutually beneficial, particularly to our youth who needs those community service hours for graduation purposes. And so, but we talked about that on our staff meeting today, and so we're going to be generating a list. So look for that to come within the next couple of weeks. I'll say is let's get through the holiday season, but definitely by the 1st of January. Oh, the outlaw. Oh, I'm gonna save that for our Parks and Recs because there might be volunteer opportunities too for the 16th of December. And Mr. Tanar Turner is here. T squared. And so, brother, and then we have Johnny Clark on this. It's so befitting. As Mr. Turner, I'm just gonna tell y'all this. I'm gonna introduce him about this to us. This is our new Parks and Recs Director Administrator, the sheriff, the new sheriff in town. And he has the right vision and the right heart. And I think that we are in good hands to progress forward through our park system because leadership has arrived. And with that, Mr. Turner, you have the mic, sir.
I'm sorry, can you hear me, sir?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on your town hall meeting. This is my first of many. I just want to say, first of all, I want to apologize to you and your constituents in terms of the last several years. I've noticed, even when I was here before, I was here a while before, I noticed that I just don't feel like you've been taken care of. So I'm here now. So I want you all to know I'm here. I'm going to take care of this district just like any other district. We're going to be consistent. We're going to be fair. I'm looking forward to the Outlaw Classic. I was one of those ones that in 2000, I think 17, helped create the Outlaw Classic. Again, that's on December, I think the 16th. I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna be doing a number of things to the facility to get it cleaned up. We're gonna paint a few things, so we want to make sure everything looks good for our guests as they come in. And I'm here. I'm ready. I'm enthusiastic. I'm ready to go. So whatever I need to do to get the job done, I'm here for you and your constituents. And I'm excited. I'm excited. This is a new time. We're not going to talk about the past, but I'm here now and I'm ready to go. And anything you all need, anything, suggestions, anything that you have on your, whatever you all want to do, let's get it done. And I'm looking forward to meet each and every one of you face to face. At some point, I would like to have that a town hall meeting that birthday so you can put a name with a face. So I'm looking forward for that opportunity as well. And I'm gonna be in that district a lot, just talking to you all, engaging. I just want to make sure we have that open line of communication and we're doing what's best for the youth and the citizens in that area.
Absolutely. And you're going to have that opportunity because we are going to be live at Burdett on the 12th of December.
Great.
As we missed, as usually we wrap that with legislative Mondays on the fourth Mondays. But however, this is being combined through our work session. And so we didn't do this for this past session, but we will be on the 12th of December. And but I do want to give a little insight too is for those who know, we have expanded our territory in the fifth district through the park system, is adding the field that we maintained, but was not owned by the city of South Fulton. We now own it, and so and now is the time over here to day ones is the input on what y'all would like it to be. Is that I know that we need a track, a community track, a walking trail. And I do have a desire over there to have on the other side over there cut out for every military branch to have a veterans memorial to honor the South Fulton veterans within this ecosystem who gave it all. And so, but the commitment here was under this new leadership is the time to actual input is I would like for everybody to reach out because I think that a park system to me is directly related to sustainability development. It is key because that's something that people look for because you want to have recreation. And if you look at the field, it's like a baseball diamond. It's kind of like the home plate. And when you design things around it, you have McNair Meadow, then you have Bethune, you have the Burdett Tennis Center, the Burdett Gym, and now the field. Is that area can be legitimately blocked off out there and created out there for a whole safe zone area. And but ideally is it's got to be something that's going to be beneficial that the people in the community are going to use. And I used to go use that track at McNair until they built the new school out there and closed it up. But I do know that that's needed. That's key. But we need your input as Tenard needs your input because he'll know what they're going to advocate for. Because I want to identify funding specifically to go after to get the party started. And so not wait on as you can explain to the Parks Master Plan and what that will come with. And so, but we do want to give y'all that opportunity at ground level. So December the 12th, we'll be live. at Burdette. So please come out. And I do want to reach out to the soccer team down there and the people who play soccer and cricket and all that. As Mr. Tenard is, would you agree that there's, now that we own it and the maintenance of that, is there going to be a fee schedule associated with the rental of the facilities?
Yes, sir. So one of the things that I want to do, I think in a number of our parks, I think we've been using revenue because I think we have individuals on these fields that don't have a permit. So one of the things I want to do, with partnering with the park patrol or the park rangers, is to make sure they're using that facility with a permit. I don't think currently, I think I saw them on it the other day. I don't think currently they have a permit because we're losing revenue. So I just want to make sure that whoever is on that field, they have a permit, they pay what they need to pay before they get on that field. So I'm gonna be looking into that this week just to make sure they have that now that we know that we own it. I was under the impression that when I was here in 2015, 16, 17, that we owned it. I thought we always owned it, so it kind of makes sense why we weren't receiving that revenue now. Now that we own it, we can receive that revenue, and that's a pretty lump sum of revenue because there's always individuals on that field using it for games. I see flag football, I see referees and things of that nature. So we're going to collect that revenue.
Absolutely, sir. And so, as I always say, is we got 5 owners. They said you have to chip in because one of the things about ownership is, and particularly our parks, is I just have this idea of pristine. Is but we didn't own it, but we did maintain it, and that's
Exactly.
the issue that I had. And so, is gas, equipment costs, and like anyway, but it costs. And so if they want to do that because it's going to cost to maintain it, you go buy a Lexus, it's not the price of the car, it's the maintenance over the time. But shouldn't our parks look pristine? Is because we own those parks. Those are actual land that we do own. And get this, and I know I share the same sentiment because the day that I went over there, I just happened to stumble upon Mr. Tenard and was filled with the pine straw. And the very next day over there is in condition that you can actually see the street. So I think that just that alone shows me the onset of initiatives that through our park system, because we have a whole park system, and actually the connected Burdette Park is really connected to Old National Park across the street over Pleasant Hill. Is the gym was just built on the other side, but it gives a great segue to have a whole bridge. Pedestrian bridge that lights up at night out there, says, what I mean? And so I just envision that, to see that, to connect those, and connectivity for all the communities. And so, but this is where your input comes in.
So Mayor Pro Temp, if you don't mind me saying, I just want the citizens to be very vigilant in terms of what they see. If they see anything, some many misuse in the park, just keep your eyes open and just give me a call or send me an email, because I'm very serious in terms of making sure our parks stay crisp and clean. Our parks should be just like the parks in Gwinnett County. Our parks should be just like the ones in Atlanta. We're no different than them. So I take this very serious in terms of how these parks look and how they operate. And I don't want people outside the county, the city, coming into the city abusing our parks. See, that's another thing that happens all the time. People from Atlanta call, they think they can come into our city and abuse our parks. That's not gonna happen. So I just want you all to keep an eye on things. If you see anything that you don't look to,
please mute your phone. Please mute your phones. Somebody mute your phone.
Yeah, somebody.
No, somebody go ahead. Their phone.
So yeah, just keep an eye on it and send me an email with any suggestions.
Phone, please.
Tamika, handle that, please. Is that just if it? Thank you.
One of the things we will put up immediately, I'm gonna have them to put up in the park. I want them to put up a Mayor Pro Temp sign that says permits. You have to get a permit from Parks and Recreation Department and have the number on there. I think that's a deterrent to keep them off the field, to let them know they have to have a permit to use the field as well. But yeah, I want those fields in this area to be pristine. I want people to take care of them. I want the quality of life to be enhanced. I think that I think it's been subpar over the last 10 years. But like I said, I'm here now. And if you all see anything you think we can improve upon, just drop me an email and say, Mr. Turner, I think we need to do this. And we can talk about it more, I guess, during these town hall meetings.
Absolutely. And so y'all hear it here. You can drop that in the chat and people can get that and taken care of. And
Sure.
now I will say this, is the sheriff in town, and so people do like the luxury of reaching out to you, but he is going to build out his staff. So as he puts people in position out there to share the same mindset and the vision and buy-in, is, you know, is that's going to I just see that we can be full capacity, but it's going to take time. So I'm legit saying, you know, me, as I'm a realistic person out there, 2 to 3 years out there, you're going to see a big difference in how the system is operational. But those little aesthetic things that can be taken care of, you can see some immediate impact. And so, but legit, just over the time period and the frame, is because it takes time to build the right team. Because I'm gonna just say this, I was committed. I have to have the right people around me. I can't have anybody. And so there's a reason for that. And I'd be committed to not having nobody until I had the right person. Thank God for Timiko. And so as she came along out there, because if she didn't, I'll still be by myself. But
Hey, I'm sorry, Councilman Reed, James.
Go ahead, Jane.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Fine, how are you?
Hey, wonderful, wonderful. And hello, Mr. Turner. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
We look forward to working with you. And I'm sure you won't have any shyness out of us about letting you know exactly what our part needs. So, anywho, I don't know how I don't know what the property lines are, but you know, I would like to add like a walking trail in there if that's possible. Some kind of nature stuff, you know. And I know this might not be common, but you know, I see the guys out there on the other side of the street, on the other side of the road, and they play cards over there. So I would hope that we could incorporate some kind of table or something like that, so that, you know, we can encourage, you know, people to play, you know, cards or whatever. And I hope that it would not deter people from using our cards by charging them a fee, and I hope it's not a large fee if we do charge a fee. So, and you hit the nail on the head when you said cleanliness. So of course that's important.
Pristine.
And, yeah, that. Okay. So anywho, so thank you so much. And like I said, we look forward to working with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anybody have any more questions out there for Mr. Tenardo? So you got the man himself.
This is Lloyd. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How many staff do you have?
You know what? Currently, so we operate 3 divisions: parks, recreation, and cultural affairs. So that's 3 different divisions. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I don't know how to hold up my hand. Did you hear me?
That's okay, Miss Floyd.
Yes,
Mama Floyd, you good?
You're good. Yes, ma'am. So currently, if I'm not mistaken, I think we have about 62 staff, and that's holistically, that's across 3 departments though. So we have about 62 staff. Now we're constantly hiring in the parks. The parks maintain the green space. So my biggest concern, of course, is the parks. I think on the rec end, we pretty much have the rec end in hand in terms of youth programs and things of that nature. But we need more staff to maintain and make sure that the parks are clean in nature. And I think from what I could see, the park rangers are doing a good job deterring that riffraff activity from being in the park. So to answer your question, about 62, ma'am.
Okay, the reason why I was asking, because we weren't totally together, that the lot of the residents and the children ended up playing with teams all over Metro.
Sure.
And I'd like to see it concentrated in the city of South Florida. Because number one, I know we have talent there that's going all over the place.
Sure.
And I'd like to see that concentrated. And do we have a baseball field anywhere? Diamond.
Yes, ma'am. We actually have one, Old National Park, Sandtown Park, and Welcome Park. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
We
Because I'd
do.
like to see that get started again because our children are talented.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. So allow me to elaborate on that. So again, I left in 2018. I think that once the pandemic hit, if I'm not mistaken, city of South Fulton and the leadership at that particular time kind of shut everything down. So of course you had organizations that were still running youth athletics even during the pandemic. And right now we're in the process of trying to get some of these organizations and teams to come back. Now, I'm gonna have to probably build this from the ground up. It's gonna take some time. Those that want to come back, we welcome them, and those that don't, we wish them well. But me and my team is gonna have to rebuild the athletic program at the same time. And I do agree, it's no reason that kids that are raised and from the city of South Fulton should be going to College Park in Atlanta and DeKalb County and Cobb County playing. But that was the former leadership at that particular time. I don't think they did the relevant planning around during the pandemic. They should have been really planning, so when they open back up, they would have been good to go. But we're in a different situation now. But I want to retain all the youth that are in the city of South Fulton. Of course, the youth athletic associations are ran by 501c3 athletic associations. The one at Old National, I think, is the closest one in that district. We'll be working with Ms. Mumford and her team, and Tony, who is the commissioner of football. We'll be working closely with their team to make sure that that park is heavily utilized, safe for the kids, and is in terms of the way it looks, we want to make sure that the park is safe and looks well for the citizens in that Old National area. And even I'm not sure what we're gonna do at the end of the day with the park that's down the street from Burdett. We just want to make sure the kids are safe and they stay actually in South Fulton. We don't want kids going outside because those are tax dollars that are leaving. Those are tax dollars that are leaving the city. We want that money to stay in, and we want that talent to stay in-house.
I have another question, and that is when United Way, when they have their fundraisers,
Yes, ma'am.
is any of that money streamed into our park for like after school programs? And because we have the facilities.
Yes, ma'am.
Can that happen, that we can have after school programs?
So we currently have an after school program at Burdett. We have about 14, 15 kids. Now, one of the things that I want to do is when you look at after school programs, you can't treat Burdett like you treat Sandtown. And this is what I mean economically. A lot of those schools in the area at Burdett, some of those schools are Title I schools. And in the after school programs, they go for free. It's ran through a grant. So if you have a school that's free and we're charging, we're really not going to get the kids. The only reason we get the kids that we get because they trust the staff that we have. So I'm in the process of looking at the free lunch program. Maybe those kids that own a free lunch program go for free, because at the end of the day, we're not revenue driven, we're service driven. That's very important that you understand. In Parks and Rec, it's really about quality of life. It's not about revenue. Now we can be creative and make revenue, but when you're talking about kids and you're talking about the cost of inflation, where the cost of fries is now $7 at McDonald's, these parents can't afford the extracurricular activities like sports and after school programs. So how are we going to make that affordable? Well, we make it affordable through the free lunch program.
Let me tell you where I'm going, and that's because I'm
Sure.
ignorant. I used to be involved in the day back
Sure.
along. Okay. When I say after school programs, I'm talking about tutoring. Some of
Academic support.
our children fell behind
Sure,
during COVID
sure,
and could have programs are
sure.
funded by United Way. Why can't some of the staffing be held in some of our facilities? That's where I'm going.
Sure, that's the potential, and I totally agree with you. I totally agree. They need that academic support, not just the basic after school program, traditional. They need that academic support because I was a teacher for 4 years, and I know for a fact those students fell behind. They were already behind prior to the pandemic. So
Correct.
again, that type of suggestion, that's what I need to hear. So now I can go back to my team and say, listen, why don't we hire some part-time tutorers? That's part-time tutors that can come into the after-school program and work on. Most of the kids need to work on reading because a lot of those kids in the 5th grade are reading on the 2nd grade level. So those are the type of suggestions I need to hear from citizens. So I'll know how to go back to my team, and I'm taking notes as well to say, let's hire some tutorers in our after-school program that can work on reading fundamentals and sight words and things of that nature. So I'm gonna jot this down because when I have my meeting next week, we'll go over things of that nature.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Turner, this is Joyce Officer from Heritage Park, president
Yes,
of
ma'am.
ONARU. At one time, we did a summer program called LIFT, and we did the basics, English and math, and we found out a lot of kids that were in the 5th and 6th grade, they were not able to read or do their math.
Exactly.
So maybe I need to get partnered with you because we needed somewhere for the people to go. We had over 80 kids and we fed them 3 meals a day.
Sure, sure. So again, I was a teacher for 4 years. That's one of the things I agree. One of the things that when I was a teacher, I noticed that kids were hungry. I mean, literally hungry.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm working on there is I want to do a hot meals program within our after school program where they deliver hot meals to the kids on site and the kids have enough to take home to their parents because I have to attack the family holistically. If I have a kid that's hungry,
Excuse me, Mr. Tenard.
I'm sorry,
Can you hold on for a minute, Mr.
Somebody mute your
Turner?
phone.
Hold on.
Tamiko, get rid of iPad 5 if they can identify themselves. 'Cause I don't know where that's coming from.
Wilson. Mr. Willie Wilson.
And just go ahead and just
Please
get
mute
this
your
in,
phone.
please. So we can just continue. Thank you.
Yep. So Mr. Turner, I'm gonna put my information into your, send it to you.
yes, ma'am.
And
Sure.
I hope that we'll be able to work together. I believe we will, because you sound pretty good.
I try to, ma'am. I've been in youth development in Parks and Rec for 25 years, so I've made enough mistakes to get it right at this point.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Turner,
Yes, sir.
this Mr. Conway. 3 issues that you got with Burdette Park.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you because I know I've been living over here 45 years. Currently, what you have every Sunday morning, you got a K9 dog training at that park.
Okay.
Every Sunday morning, several people training K9 dogs. They're on the upper end of Burdette Place, close to
K9.
the main.
That's dog training.
Yep.
Yeah, they have the big Rottweilers. They have the
They train
Doberman
dogs.
Yeah, they train dogs there, and they have those dogs. It's usually when I see them is every Sunday morning,
Yes, sir.
and the dogs. You talking about pristine? I don't see how it could be pristine when you see them running across that park and they downloading while they out there doing the training.
Yes,
I
sir.
wouldn't dare step out there.
Yes, sir.
The other problem is there's been a dumping ground for years. Trash. When they had one time they took the 55-gallon trash containers out because people was dropping their garbage there. It's not uncommon to see a TV sitting beside the street.
Sure.
Car tires sitting inside the street. That's not uncommon. The third issue is That's a hot spot for your ATVs, dirt bikes.
Sure. So, I'm actually writing this down. So the first problem is the K9s every Sunday morning. Is there a certain time Sunday morning, sir? Do you know?
Yes, well, I see them between the hours of 11 and 12. We normally get out of churches over around about 11:15. So I'm in that area around about before noon, between 11:30 and 12 on Sunday morning.
Yes, sir. So the second issue was the trash that you see, and that's just a matter of parks being a little bit more deliberate in terms of driving by, just doing drive-bys so many hours, just making sure that that is a dumping ground for TVs and things of that nature. I can solve that immediately. And as well as the K9. So what we have Park Patrol now. So what I'm gonna do is after I get out this call, I'm gonna email Kevin, I think he's over Park Rangers, to make sure that every Sunday around from, I'm just gonna say from 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m., that they constantly do have a rover just to see if anybody's out there. And if they are, they should have a permit to use that facility. And I know they don't have a permit to use that field. So we can kind of take care of that immediately as well. And you say the ATVs are similar. I'm assuming that they're just riding on the field, kind of messing up the field as well. Did we lose Mr. Conway?
I see him still connecting. I don't know.
I think that was the third issue, but I wrote it down. I wrote it down, Mayor Pro Tem. I wrote it down. And what I'm gonna do, I'll discuss this with the park rangers and Chief Meadows. I'll discuss these issues and I'll send an email once we get off the line, and I'll copy you in on it so you'll know.
And Mr. Turner,
Yes, ma'am.
Jane Williams here again. Okay. So now, K9 training, first of all, for parks, dogs should not be at the park. I think
Sure,
that's one thing
sure.
that Mr. Conway was saying,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
because they are, well, his term, dumb.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
see, you know, we got kids gonna be on that park, and I don't wanna be out there. And that thing, I know I done stepped in some stuff. So number one, just like
Sure.
a pool or a lake or something, you know, dogs should not be in that area. If they want that, then you know they need to build a dog park or go over there to Welcome Mall where they put that expensive park over there. So dogs should not be there. And ATVs, you know, they need to probably find somewhere else for ATVs too. I'm sorry, you know. Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents.
So I think that issue will be addressed with signage. I think once we put signage up that says no
think so.
dogs, no ATVs,
Yeah.
and permits, I think that'll solve that issue. And the ones that it doesn't
And
solve,
patrol.
they will get tickets. We'll issue
Okay.
citations.
Okay.
So what I'll try to do is
Thank
within the next 30 days, I'm gonna try to have signage up that says no ATVs, no dogs in the park, and any organized activity, you have to come to the Parks and Rec Department. So I'll work with the Parks Department and General Services to get that done over the next 30 days. So look to have signage out there within the next 30 days. And also listen, if I don't do it, then you all have to call me to the carpet. So just
we'll
make
call you out.
sure you keep me in check and remind me that, okay, Mr. Turner, you said you was gonna have this. So just make sure you all are getting on me if things are not done, and I promise you it's gonna get done. But in the next 30 days, we will have signage up. Again, once I get off the call, I'm taking the notes. I'll start emailing the stakeholders to get these things done.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
ma'am.
Miss Sheila.
My
Miss
hand
Sheila
is
got
up,
her
Mr.
na-
Turner.
Miss Sheila got her hand up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have. The first thing is when you said about the fees.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you be charging fees for people using the park, like personal trainers who are charging $45 and $50 an hour
Sure.
for people to take the classes, but they're using the parks for free?
Okay, so that's another thing. We had that issue at Burnett. Everybody that's using that park if it's organized training. If you go to any municipal government, I was in Noon County, I ran Noon County, I was in the city of Atlanta, they charge. There's a fee because like you said, you made a valid point. You have a personal trainer that's charging $20 an hour per participant, and they're making $1,000 a day, and the city gets nothing. So normally we have a fee schedule that we're looking at. The council didn't approve it last time I came in on it. I'm taking a look at it now to see exactly what we need to charge, and then that fee schedule will go in front of council. But what I can tell you is that they're going to pay a fee. So that's why that signage is also important, because it's going to specifically say you have to have a permit if you're doing anything organized on that field, including personal training, including any sports leagues and
Line
things of that
dance,
nature.
line dance, don't leave out
Anything
line
that's on
dance
that
because
field.
they are using line dance, those facilities for free, but they are charging what they call a donation. But
Yes,
you have to
ma'am.
pay that donation to take that class. So I don't see the difference. If
So
the city, the parks is
illegal.
not getting that money. The
So could
person
you
who's
tell?
teaching the class.
Could you tell me, I'm not sure, because again, this is like my second week. Could you tell me the donation thing is illegal? Nobody, even you have to charge that's why we have user fees. You have to charge a fee in order to have these classes. Because, and all these things have to be approved by council. Now, if the council says free, it's free, but you shouldn't be there shouldn't be a donation in lieu of charging a fee. Do you know that particular site that is doing
Oh,
donations?
they do it at all. I mean, you do it as it happens in that Burdette, and it's happening at Welcome All. A fee is being charged for the line dance classes. So when the instructor leave out of there, she has a whole slew bucket of money that's leaving up out of there for each, and they go to park, and they make a lot of money teaching those classes, and they have those buckets they call donation. They expect everybody to put a donation in there for that class. And that's at all of them. That's happening at all of the parks.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that. So I just wanted you all to be aware of something. What we have is what they call an instructor user fee. That's a fee we charge, and whatever that fee is, it's basically a 60-40 split, where the instructor gets 60 and the city gets 40%. So that's kind of how it works. I'm not sure if that's been approved or legislated by council. Again, I'll have to take a look at the user fees, but once I take a look at it, I'm glad that you're telling me this, because I'll take a look at they're calling, I guess you're saying it's a donation when it should be some type of split, because because that's illegal. We can't have people, again, you have people coming into the city, using the facilities, making money, and going back to Cobb County. We can't have that. So I'm glad I'm writing everything down. So I will be addressing these donations with my staff as soon as possible.
Okay, I have one other thing.
Sure.
When you talking about what would take place in the facilities, make sure you include youth golfing,
Okay.
because we did have to go outside of our district, my son, to take golfing when he had to learn when we had to go to the city of Atlanta and DeKalb and over in Coweta County just for him to learn how to when he was a youth to take golf. And even now, I mean, for the course that you have to go to those areas because we don't have it here in District 5. I mean, in the city of South Fulton.
Oh, now, Sheila, you talking my language now. Oh, because I play golf and we do have Wolf Creek. And so as we used to have a driving range on flat shows, I don't know if people remember that, but it was right next to the Pike Nurseries. And so, and that's legit where I went to learn how to drive, that and John A. White Park. So, you talking about language. And then the rules it states we need 10 acres for a driving range. I don't necessarily know if we need 10 acres, but that's what the current ordinance says. But there's the organization that we're going to try to do this, is Drive It Home, is the part of this guy who does teach that. So we're going to actually try to do that at Burdette, but we won't get the little mats because we don't want to damage the pristine grass, right? I legit really want to see artificial grass for low maintenance, but it keeps and maintains the beauty of it. Is there what's that St. Augustine? Mr. Czar, is there any turf that has a St. Augustine?
You know what? I'm not sure. But is that something that we could look into as
because I do believe, one is, let me just say this, I don't believe in free. And then two is, I do believe because there's a maintenance cost to it, right? And so as
Sure.
I just legit say, we got 5 owners, right? And so if everybody chip in, I says, we can all enjoy the beauty of it. Even if you don't enjoy the beauty, you'll be able to drive by and see the beauty of it. And so, but maintenance comes at a cost. And so, but to that artificial deal is, I want to look into that because I do believe in low maintenance as, but still maintaining the integrity and the beauty of playing. But I do know some people don't like playing on turf. But is that something that we can visit?
It is. It is. It is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Going forward, what I'm gonna also do once we start meeting in person, I'm also gonna bring. I like to come as a team, so you'll be talking to the subject matter experts. In terms of programming, we have a rec manager, and normally she operates all the programming in all the facilities, and I'll make sure I bring somebody from parks too. So when y'all beat up on me, y'all can beat up on them as well, because they're directly, I hold them responsible for doing those things as well. So I'll make sure I have them there as well, so you can talk to them directly about things that you see in terms of in the parks. Calvin is our parks. He's over the park, so that's mainly his responsibility. So I'll make sure that he's him or one of his team members in the parks, so y'all can talk to him directly in the meetings. I'm sorry. So y'all can talk to him directly as well.
And Calvin is a veteran too, correct?
He is. Calvin has been doing this for a long time. So very good at what he does. He listens, he cares. So y'all make sure that he's there as well.
What you
Absolutely.
doing? If you can't see, turn on the lights.
Who's that talking, Jane?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Mr. Corey.
I thought she was headed out to get a sticky trap.
I am.
You would put that in a group when we have done for our Black people.
Meet me.
Support our Black people on a daily basis.
Corey.
And so clearly you got it wrong. And I'm just gonna chalk it up as you're not
Hello?
that.
Yes.
Tried it.
Hey, it's Johnny Clark, sir.
All I can tell
Hey
y'all
Johnny, is that you with the background on the TV?
research.
No, I don't have a TV on, but I don't have a computer, so I have a background noise. I just wanted to welcome Talar. Talar, you're going to remember me from the way back when.
I'm sorry. I can't say that again, Mr. Clark. I'm sorry. Say it again, sir.
You're lying, because I believe you went to Douglas High School. Am I correct?
Exactly. I went to Douglas High School. I did. Are you familiar with me?
Yes, because I graduated in '84 and I played on the state championship team over there in basketball, and we talked years ago.
Okay.
Hey Johnny, you familiar with Allen Temple?
Boy, stop.
So I'm actually from Allen Temple. I was born and raised in Allen Temple.
And I grew up right up the street from it on Bertie Road.
Oh wow. Okay.
So see, I used to hang in Allen Temple when it was okay to hang in Allen Temple.
Oh yeah, you're right. When it was okay, when I was growing up, it wasn't okay. Yeah,
Right.
You know what? Let me say this: is Johnny's on the Parks and Rec advisory board, and you the new director, and so people been inquiring. So this is a perfect little segue. Can you just give a little bit of insight on how that you're going to approach that with the Parks Advisory Board, and what basically a breakdown on what that relationship with that collaboration is going to look like going forward?
So I you know what, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm glad you got into this. I'm so glad you got into this. This is one of the things I questioned when I was interviewing for the job. I talked about I talked about a Parks and Recreation commission, but the advisory board similar in nature, the same thing. So I know doing the annexation, they developed a advisory board. I'm not sure how active they are right now, but one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure we had a rec advisory board that was very active. We were going to meet live one time a month, And what that would do is we would each council person would be able to nominate a chair or from their district. We can have parents on it, we can have coaches on it, we can have community stakeholders on it, and we would meet and talk about issues in the park holistically. And then what I would do is take those issues back to the city manager and say, okay, this is what they're saying, this is what they need. So we're hearing it right from the constituents. Instead of me saying it, I'm getting it from the advisory board, and I'm taking these issues, a comprehensive plan, and saying, this is what we need to do over this. And they will help me develop a strategic plan, because I think getting the citizens' input would help me create a strategic plan, because the citizens live in the community. My job is to just listen and try to make sure I'm giving the citizens what they need in terms of program, in terms of quality of life. So I think the advisory board is very, very relevant, because you all are going to help me fight the fight when I go in front of council or when I'm talking to the city manager about issues in the park, because I'm going to say, listen, this is what the people are saying. So we have to give the people what they want. And I'm not sure right now how active they are, but we need to get active immediately.
Well, you can have a conversation with Johnny about that, as from the perspective of his viewpoint out there. As I do try to point to subject matter experts, but I'm just gonna say, leading the segue, when you develop and have process, procedures, and protocol, and just go look at the Parks and Ordinance, the ordinance that's on the Parks and Recs website. Like what you just said is what that states, and things are just done out of order, and all you're doing is just coming back to get them in the order in the way they supposed to be, because it is right before it even hits council. It's the CDRA and the Parks Advisory Board Committee that goes to first, because that's the community, and that's, so it's just putting it in the order and perspective of how it's designed. So I think that you're on the right track, sir, and it's right on our website. As I just, when you read through it, as you'll see what I'm talking about. Is it meets the vision. So yeah, and
I've already emailed you, so you have an email from me. And Corey, you are so much correct. You know, you guys already had that conversation about the Park and Rec board. So I'm looking forward to working with you, Clark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm excited. Go ahead.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry. Can I've had my hand up, but I can wait though. I just wanted to make sure you saw me.
Okay, well, okay, go ahead. And so let me see if, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I need to apologize for coming in so late. But anyway, when I came in, you all were discussing organized events and parks and people that are charging. Now, let me ask, now, when you're talking about banning that or getting the city some of that money, are you talking about people that are coming in outside of the county? Because I know you mentioned something, Mr. Turner, about people from Cobb County. So is that what you're targeting, that are coming from outside of the county?
So you have both. So you do have individuals that live inside the city of South Fulton that are using the parks for free. And you do have those individuals, I know for a fact, that go over the parks like Welcome All and Old National, who are outside the county, because they know, they are aware of, we're not patrolling our parks like we should. So they come in and use it for free. Now there's two different fees. There's a fee for residents who live in the city, and there's a non-resident fee. So we have a combination of both of them. They're not mutually exclusive when we're talking about individuals that are using a park.
So wouldn't that be covered under our taxes? So as a tax-paying citizen, a resident of the city of South Fulton, not that I'm doing it, but I'm just saying, thinking of someone else or for someone else or on behalf of someone else or whatever, if they're paying their taxes in the city, are they not entitled to go to a park and do something like that?
So no. So if you look at Atlanta, let's look at the city of Atlanta. If you look at the city of Atlanta, you have residents that pay their taxes, but when they go and rent, they still have to go and rent a pavilion at Mosley Park. So they still have to pay a fee because that fee has been legislated by council. Even though they pay city taxes to the city, the council and the mayor has still legislated a fee because you have what they call M&O costs, maintenance and operation costs. There's still a cost associated with everything that we do. And a lot of these services are outsourced. So, you know, when you look at Parks and Rec again, it's not a break-even department. It's more quality of life and service driven. So anytime you can collect fees to try to help and offset some of the maintenance costs, you have to do it. And again, these things are legislated by council. So to answer your question, even if you pay city taxes, if it's organized and you like, I think the young lady said a boot camp. You have boot camps out here where these people are making like thousands of dollars and not paying a dime to the city. And remember, but there's still wear and tear on the fields. So the taxpayers are actually paying for individuals inside and outside the county to use these fields, mess up these fields, but the city is not reaping any benefits from it, but the provider is. They're making a killing off these boot camps because I've seen them and we ran them out the park. So we have to associate some type of fee, and that fee has to be legislated by council. That's why we have a fee schedule. And I think on the next agenda, I think either December or January, they're going to approve the fee schedule. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that fee schedule is also going to be in a public hearing because they want the citizens to take a look at the fee schedule to give their recommendations in terms of is things too high or too low, which I think is good because I think most municipal governments are going towards that. Normally, the council legislate them and they approve them, but I think this time they're going to actually let the citizens take a look at the fees and give their input, which I think is a great idea.
And right, and just to say, council has a fee schedule too. Is as some people want to just associate it with this, think they can get a free event and occupy the space, but the only thing actually that will be waived is a permit. But like I said, is we all chip in, and so it's as I'm one person, but you know I do think shared costs is we should have a fee schedule too, as because of the maintenance and operations. And not just because we're on council, because if we're talking about the constituents, we should buy into it as well. But the only thing that maybe we can waive is the permit, and which can have things flush out. But at the end of the day, as I don't believe in free, and so as because free is you get anybody had a free job, you know it's a free job. And so, but if you chip in, it's a collaborative effort. And collaborations win championships. I'm just not willing to talk about it. I'm really actually to be a part of it as well. And so it's just for every reason I just stated. So, but I'm one person, and so that might not fly. But hey, however, as we can always push it. And so,
Hey, Councilman, if you go down to Peachtree City now, prior to I guess it happened prior to the pandemic or during the pandemic, you can't use their parks at all if you don't have a driver's license saying you live in the city of Peachtree City. They have code enforcement and people out there, and you pull up, they want to see your driver's license. They want to see if you live in the city of Peachtree City. And you got to have, of course, you know, that permit to go where the fishing and that part, where the pond and all of it. You can't go in there without a permit. And they just don't want you using their parks down there. They'll tell you don't live in the city of Peachtree City. You can't, they want you out of their parks. You don't have a license to show you live down there. You can't use their parks down there anymore.
Now, Sheila, to get this. Now, you know, for me personally, I would support that 100%. The other side of me says right. Think about that. But the other side of me says people probably be marching down Old National talking about why can't we use a part in the city we don't live in. So,
but they do it in Peachtree City, and then people leave up out of there too. I mean, if you can't show that you live there, or you with someone who lived there, that you with someone who has a home down there, they'll tell you in a minute you have to leave these parks down here in Peachtree City. They don't want you down there, especially if you Fulton County and you black. Oh,
that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
Do what you do, sir. And so, as I fully support whatever it is that you initiate. That's going to be beneficial to the constituents' quality of life through our park system.
That's not a bad idea. I actually like that because if you're a resident, you're going to take care of those fields. But if not, I think most of the riffraff that comes in, those ATVs are probably coming from the city of Atlanta or East Point or Cobb County. They're not City of South Fulton residents. When they were in Welcome Mall doing those donuts in the street, those weren't City of South Fulton residents. Those residents was coming from City of Atlanta because they knew they could come into the City of South Fulton and do those things.
Right. And I wanted the people to get the mentality that says, would you do that in Clayton County? Oh, no, 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 no. See,
Exactly.
that same reaction of that we know we're effective. And I'm sorry, people, but it'll get rough before it's smooth. But understand something. To meet your objective, that things have to be done. It's necessary for progress. So I will say that. But however, it is 7:32 and I do like to end on time. And so this has been great. Now, are y'all excited? Am I the only one excited? Get this, I see the future. This, I love it. Embrace it. It's here.
I'm excited.
I'm trying to tell you it's like this is we all can
Corey.
appreciate it. Yes.
Can you come back next time?
Oh,
Ma'am.
we'll be live December the 12th.
Yeah, we'll be live. So every time y'all have these meetings, I'll be there until y'all kick me out.
We're not kicking you out. We ain't
Y'all
going.
will get tired.
Well, let me just say this. Well, we are live the 4th Monday because that's Legislative Monday. So we actually go over the agenda. Anything on that, we go over that. And because also too is a conversation is community gardens and how that expands through the park system, but actually through the communities under a system of those parks because of the land space and designation. So there's more to discuss about that. And as we get more information and subject matter experts to surround that conversation to kind of help shape the factual narrative of that and how that can be done in that process. And so I do want to put that in the atmosphere and oxygenate that as an idea. We do have people who want to see that manifest.
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
this Miss Johnson. I just have one question. I want to know if you received my you and Tamika received my email.
About December the 3rd.
Yeah, thank you. That's all you need to say. Yes.
I get it. As there's so much happening December the 3rd, it's like everybody just picked that date, right? And so it's gonna be a fun-filled packed day, action-packed, there's nonstop, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
And so absolutely. So I did get it. And so
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Anybody else? Well, look here. Thank you, Mr. Tanar, for taking out the time, and thank you, Kitchen Cabinet,
Thank
for
you,
taking the
Mr.
time out of your
Turner.
day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, what we got?
Thank y'all all for continuing to join, and appreciate you taking out the time this Monday night. Whoever's playing, it's not the Falcons, and but however, and just enjoy this day. Keep positive, keep smiling faces, and remember, you are the absolute best part of the city, and I love you, and you can't do nothing about it. Until next
Do
time.
nothing about it.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Right. So.
Something always comes up. So, you don't think so? Really go.